a proposal for a study. But because of the fiscal constraints of the town, we're just sitting on it. There is no proposed effort this year. If we can get some money from grants, I will come back to the board at that point and present that to you for authorization. It's very much alive, but there's no plan to do it this year. That's why we have the burning, 5 episodes of burning that are costed out.
Okay, thank you. My mistake. I thought we had funded that already.
Thank you. Further questions or comments about continuing appropriations?
So,
Carol, second time.
so if this money is all...
Please speak into the microphone.
Sorry, Ron, if this money is all voted for, the invasive species management, the maintenance, would that mean that you would then have enough money for Title Bond to go ahead and do it this year?
We have 2 different line items here. One is the burning treatment, that stands on its own. The other is lake dam maintenance, which is level funded from last year. We have ongoing maintenance issues on the dam that have nothing to do with invasive species. So that's just a budget line item we carry in case we have to do repair on the dam or point the surface of the dam or work on the sluice gate. So there is no plan to do the time bond at this point in time, and we're not carrying money for it. It would have to come funded from some other source, and there's nothing that's there now.
Thank you, Mr. Kohler, for that damn answer.
Mary Link, 48 Buckland Road. That was one of my questions you just answered. The one that is above that says invasive species management, is that something, is that a continuing, is that connected to what we voted on downstairs? Is it building up a fund so that we can, that's what's been talked about on the dam is invasive species that grow in the ground on top in the air. The one above it that's invasive, lake invasive species is the weeds inside the water. Just right to start with. So that, what is that $7,000 for?
Mr. Leonard.
That money is there in case we need to do any survey work, mapping, etc. of the existing weeds.
Thank you.
Any further questions, comments? Are we ready to vote? All in favor of Article 22, continuing appropriations as moved, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That passes unanimously. Article 23 is our vote.
Mr. Moderator.
Mr. Carter.
Mr. Moderator, I move Article 23 as written.
Second.
Second by Mr. Goodman. Please.
All right, so you can see in the table the capital projects we have lined out here. Please don't compare it to last year's list of capital projects, right? We were flying blind last year. We pulled back on the rein. So many of the projects that we had in the pipeline, but this year, since we have a clear view of where we are, we're funding this list. So bridge work, $100,000 worth of bridge work, we could appropriate $500,000 worth of bridge and culvert work, that sort of thing. The replacement of a pickup truck, which is on a regular schedule. $50,000 for the retaining wall. If someone's not aware, we've been, I think Ron and I talked about it, was 12 years ago, this got put on the priority list. It's the retaining wall from the field where the old Sanderson was that comes up behind all the houses and the garage on Bronson Avenue. It's an old stone wall that needs to be replaced. Maybe last year, 2 years ago, maybe we took title, the town town took title to that wall. It's one of those deals that we have to get some grant funding. We've done some engineering work and we're trying to start to set some money aside, hopefully to match a grant. $70,000 to repair the chair lifts in this building. Computers, right? There's always money you can spend on a newer, faster, brighter, shinier computer, so there's $12,500 for that. We did a similar amount last year. And then for the library, Sandy mentioned it earlier when she was up, about getting hooked onto the sewer at the library and starting to put in a real driveway for that paving project. My experience is $20,000 is maybe a good down payment on that. And then the town hall, $50,000. This is a new line item, but it's time that we get serious on what the office space and the downstairs of this town hall is going to look like going into the future. There haven't been any. The improvements that have been made don't really take care of our present needs, never mind what the needs will be in the future. So this is to help us get a better idea of vision of what that's going to be. An outdoor water fountain, and for the school, I spoke about this earlier. It's they need extra money. The water heater goes, and they need extra money in a special appropriation. So it's a pretty clear list. There's more things that could be added, or at least start depositing some money ahead. But we didn't feel in these economic times it was prudent to do it at this meeting.
Thank you. Further comments, questions? Ms. Howard? You should pull that back out somewhere.
Jimmy Hopkins, Spruce Corner Road. I have two questions on the town hall building design improvements. And I kind of lost track as to where we are for the school building, but as Anderson is closed, does this $50,000 then go as the town hall administrative services move to Sanderson? This is $50,000 followed back.
So this $50,000, we're hoping to actually get going on spending sooner than that. So the guess is at this point is that even if they chose to, on their timeline, close Sanderson potentially, we're talking year, it's going to be years, 5 years, maybe at least, to get that going, get it funded, because they have, if they did follow through with what they're recommending, it'd be a huge project. So this $50,000, the downstairs of this building, it's kind of put together over the years, and it's a mess at this point. It really doesn't meet the needs of the kind of staffing we have in town hall full-time at this point. And I think that going forward, either way, what we're going to try to do is get some design work going. Minimally, there's foundation work that needs to be done on the outside of the building. So I guess that would be one thing we should be talking about the design firm is how to set up the downstairs so it can be used in the next 5 years, but maybe even after that in the future. So for other purposes.
My second question is, where is this outdoor water fountain going to be?
So this is a proposal that came in from the bowlers last year sometime. I think it was just before Fall Festival. And so the idea was to put this on the outside of the fire station towards the common so that people would have access for filling water bottles and stuff.
You're not putting in a fancy sprinkler like in Italy.
No. But if you want to put a couple more zeros after that, what do you think about it?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's too late to add an appropriation for a brain for your moderator, because your moderator forgot to come in to ask for a recommendation from the finance committee, always informs us. Peter.
Surprise, surprise, the Finance Committee recommends this unanimously.
Thank you, and I apologize again.
fired. Peyton Plumbing, I was wondering if they have a priority list on what bridges are earmarked for that $100,000 and whether one of them might be the bottom of Smith Road.
Tom's back there. He's aching his food.
Yeah. Well, son, you can come over here and use my language. Highway superintendent for a little while.
So the Smith Road, I did put in for a phase one application to the Municipal Small Bridge Program. So we put in a phase one application for Smith Road for design work. And that's, they call it phase one is design, phase two is actual construction. So you have to get the phase one approved first. So this year for phase one, we've got in for Smith Road, one on Premier Road, and one on Williamsburg Road. So these bridge funds that we're talking about help supplement these things if we need to add money to that. So it's important for us to have this year, if we happen to get some of these, if we get awarded for all of them or one of them or whatever. And secondly, we use some of this money for other types of bridges that are not eligible for some of these type of programs. So for example, the Municipal Small Bridge Program, the bridge has to have a span of 10 feet, between 10 and 20 feet. Once it's over 20 feet, then it's in the Federal Highway Administration system. So under 10 feet, we have to try other programs such as MVP, things like that. So we have, there's a list of them as well. There's a couple on Baptist Corner Road, there's one on Bullet Road. Paul and I tried a year to two ago on some of them, and some of them were hard for us to meet some of the criteria, especially on Bullet Road. We couldn't really prove much economic growth out there. Things of that nature, so some of this money may be used to help us fund some of that. We still hope to, we were successful with an MVP one on the Baptist Corner one, so we tried some of those other sources again, but again, some of them are hard to, they don't really consider Bullet Road a priority.
You have a follow-up?
Thank you, Tom. I also just want to thank you in general. Every winter, your ability to get the roads cleared quickly is amazing to me, and so thank you for you and your team.
I think you need your name and your address.
Delta Carney, 347 Main Street. I see all the information that's limited here about the water fountain. It's going to be out there, but the water district would like to know who's sent the bills for the water to. Who's going to get that, the fire department or the town hall?
We'll probably figure that out, talk to you before any work on that gets going.
Okay, just for your own information, the water rates for usage have gone up now.
Okay.
So it's going to cost them more.
Yep. I think we'll work that out. I'm not sure that we're going to be using, thousands of gallons to that system, so.
Thank you.
Fully operated water.
Very good.
Paper bill.
Bill Class 860 Cape Street. I'm asking about the water heater replacement for $4,400 that is just Ashfield's share. So how much did this water heater cost if only Ashfield's share is $4,400?
I don't know, commercial water heaters are really expensive. I mean, if you're talking like, even if you're talking about a domestic one, you might be in that range, possibly.
No, $2,000. $2,500 for a domestic, for a hybrid electric hot water heater.
Do I hear 3,000?
Rona Leventhal, 439 West Road. I'm just curious about the lift replacement here in Town Hall. Is that a projected need or is it a current need?
It is a current need. these need constant maintenance and babying and, knowing where to slap the thing at the right time to make it work. They have been, and we can't get parts for these lifts anymore, right? It's unbelievable to me that they have so much age on them. So, do they need to be replaced this year or next year, whenever? If they're going to be replaced in the near future, and this was something we wanted, the accessibility, right? We depend on this building all year long for all kinds of events, that we wanted to ensure that the accessibility was there.
So you're anticipating the need for replacement at some point in the next year?
We are anticipating that we get this voted, and after July, we can get a contractor to do it. Let's get it done.
Mr. Martins.
Excuse me, I wanted to address Mr. Plessy's fair question. And so, I don't know the exact numbers, Phil, but about 80% is Ashfield's share, and 20% is Plainfield's share based on the assessment formula. And as you know, the school system, like our town, they have these really draconian bidding things. They're just not going out to Home Depot and putting in somebody's pickup truck. And so I don't have a real answer to you, but I know it's rigorous, and I know they just can't hire Joe the plumber or whatever. That's been involved before.
Thank you, Mr. Pless.
I wouldn't have asked the question if it was just Sanderson, but the notes say Mohawk. That this was a water heater, Mohawk. Right, so that's, if Sanderson is kind of reasonable, I guess, but if it's Mohawk, it seems way out of line.
Mr. Pless, you have an answer to this?
I believe it's been a little while since I've looked at the breakdown. I think the total project cost was give or take around $30,000. This is Mohawk, this is for the entire building. And then I believe Ashfield's portion is give or take around 12% of that. Sorry.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Pless? Okay. Well, did you get your answer to correct? All right. Any other questions or comments regarding the capital, capital what? Capital projects? Thank you. We ready to vote? All those in favor of Article 23 as moved, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? It is unanimous. Article 24 is in.
Moderator? I move Article 24 as written.
Second by, please.
So I don't want to steal any thunder from the Energy Committee if they want to speak to this, but we've done a fantastic job positioning us so that we can get $1 million plus of grant money. This $100,000 will cover our portion, our match for the grant money that they are applying for. The grants will be used to build, install, and use 2 solar arrays in town. These solar arrays are projected to provide all of the municipal electricity that we use over the next 25 years? What's the lifespan?
The life of the panels are 25 years,
Right.
but these are projected to supply all the electricity we use now.
Right.
We've committed to decarbonize.
Yeah, Mike.
Hang on.
You should have just had her speak to it to begin with.
Say what you know, but not until I get a recommendation.
We need this $100,000 as grant match money for the grants that we're applying for the solar arrays. This money is coming out of, we put about $300,000 in a grant stabilization fund last year. This was the ARPA money that was left over that we put into this stabilization fund so that the federal government couldn't claw it back, which they were threatening to do. So we moved it, we shifted the buckets around, and we put it into an account where they theoretically couldn't get it from. With the intention that it would be there specifically for projects like this, for a grant funding match where we're going to take the $100,000 of free money that we got from ARPA and get more free money with it. So that's what this is about.
Is there a recommendation from the Finance Committee?
We unanimously recommend this.
Thank you, Mrs. Carter. Now, let's hear from the Energy Committee. Alex Osterman.
Thanks. So, yes, we're really excited about these projects. We just yesterday got the ability to publicly announce that we've been designated officially a climate leader community. Which puts us... Sorry?
You got to really talk.
Okay. So we just... Okay. So we just got the ability yesterday to announce publicly that we are officially a climate leader community, which gives us the opportunity to apply for 2 different grants. I think sounds like it's getting.
Can you hear her?
Yes. Okay, 2 different grants. The one that this is referring to is the accelerator grant, which is a max of $1 million. And we are all set to apply for it. We've turned in our notice of intent. The grant application is due August 1st, and we will find out if we get that grant probably December or January, and then we'll be building next year. These 2 solar arrays, like Todd said, would supply all the electricity we need as a municipality now. However, we have, as part of becoming a climate leader community, we have committed to decarbonizing, which means we will stop using fossil fuels over the next 25 years, and our electricity use will actually go up because we will electrify a lot of things that are not currently electrified. So this provides us with what we need now, and there'll probably be more solar in the future, but these projects are looking really good. The payback time for the town would be less than 1 year. After that, it would be all savings. These 2 projects combined stand to save the town approximately $2 million over the life of the panels.
I have a question. How many climate leading communities out of our 351 cities and towns are there?
So we were one of the first 19. Is that correct, Mary? Yeah.
And who else is on the Energy Committee?
Mary Quigley, Brian Clark, April West, David Chandler, and Ellen Loya. So there's 6 of us.
Tons of work.
Manfred Gabriel, Briar Hill Road. All I wanted to say is thank you to Alex and the entire Energy Committee. I think this is a very positive development for the town, and wanted to thank you for the time and the energy you've put into this. And it's great to see it developing after our conversation a year ago at town meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brian Kohler, Bailey Road, and just second what Nick said. The Job Energy Committee put a lot of work into this.
You notice I always tell us not to applaud. I'm not this time. This is, any more questions, any more comments? Well, all in favor of Article 24, the solar arrays appropriation as moved, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That passes unanimously. Thank you, committee. Article 25.
Mr. Moderator,
Mr. Goodman.
I move Article 25 as written.
Second.
That's seconded by Mr. Carter.
Right. So, retaining wall debt authorization. So, Tom brought this up a minute ago, and so we just voted to put $50,000 into account to try to get this going. So, what we're trying to do here is put a debt exclusion for $500,000, and what this would do is allow us to use this as matching funds for a future grant. So you notice this is a theme kind of over and over with what we like to do in this town. So when you apply for a lot of these grants, it always looks better if you always have the available matching funds up front and you're ready to go on this project. Right now, what we have are plans. We have to have plans updated like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. Now, if we vote this today, we'll have matching funds for any grants that might be available.
Okay, and a related question is about, I'm sorry.
I just want to, this is something that's been going on for a few years. We did take this property by eminent domain 2 years ago, and so the town does hold title to it now. And so we're really trying to push to get this going.
Thank you so much. Is there a recommendation, Mr. Marcus?
Our recommendation is unanimous in favor, and I just want to remind you, we talked earlier about what debt exclusions are, so this is not affecting our current tax at all, and only would if we actually borrowed money for that purpose. And so that will also come back before this body before we do it, right? Or no? No, the select board then has the ability to borrow money, sorry, but you'll know.
Now, this will require a two-thirds majority, correct? All right. So, questions, comments, discussion. Now remember, we can't debate what's on the ballot downstairs. Go ahead, Ms. Lynn. Can't debate what's on the ballot.
Mary Lynn, Buckland Road, I just wanted to say that it was mentioned this has been going on for a few years. The transition to the town has been going on for a few years. But for my neighbors who abut the playground, they've been scared that the wall would fall on their houses for a long time.
It is so...
That's on the edge, and that's why
I think it's beyond the edge. It's beyond the edge.
It's longer than 3 years.
That's deliberation, and we can't do it.
Okay.
I don't know.
I just wanted to clarify the length of time it's gone on.
Okay. So, further discussion. Okay, let's vote. All in favor, we need two-thirds majority. All in favor of Article 25 involving the retaining wall debt authorization, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Passes unanimously. That chief. Article 26, do I hear a motion?
Mr. Moderator.
Yes, sir.
Article 26, I move Article 26 as written. All right, Article 26 is revisiting what we voted at the very beginning of the meeting. Remember, we voted to let people that aren't registered voters, that don't reside in Ashfield, to speak. And the moderator can do that without asking each meeting all the time what to do. This is just making it permanent in the bylaws so we don't have to revisit it every year.
Is there a recommendation?
Well, it doesn't have financial implications, so it's finance committee doesn't have a recommendation.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion? Any comments? Ready to vote? All those in favor of that bylaw, this also requires a two-thirds. No, this is a general bylaw. Only requires a simple majority. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Article 27, is there a motion?
Mr. Moderator.
Mr. O'Leary.
I move Article 27 as written.
Yes. Please.
So this would be a bylaw change, changing the tree warden from an elected position to an appointed position. For the last 25 plus years, the tree warden has been our highway superintendent. It's 20 years anyway, right, Tom? It's only been challenged once, I think, since I've been in town. And so it makes sense that highway superintendent, whomever that may be, that the select board would appoint the highway superintendent as tree warden, because that's the person in town who's driving all of the roads, is seeing all of the trees around town, more so than anyone else. And it would make sense to give the select board the opportunity to just appoint that person to be the tree warden, rather than that person having to be elected Is it a one-year term? Every year. Period.
Thank you. Is there a recommendation from the finance committee?
Well, this does have an implication of $300 a year for the town, and so thus, yes, but the finance committee recommends it unanimous.
Now, this too is downstairs. It is a question, a related question. I will just read that question. Shall the town vote to have its elected tree warden become an appointed tree warden of the town? So we'll just have to play this by ear because it's huge. We'll talk about it if not. Just a point of order. Oh, well, hold on, then you can walk in line right there.
Today at 948 Conway Road. I just, for clarification, would the proposal be that the town would automatically, whoever the highway superintendent is to the tree warden position, or could the town potentially appoint a different person to be the tree warden?
They could potentially appoint anyone to be the tree warden, right? It would be one of the routine appointments that the select board does every year. We have a list that is over a page long of appointments that we do at the beginning of every year, and it would just be added to that. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the highway superintendent. It just historically and traditionally has that as a
Thank you.
Molly Bettys here in the room. I'm just curious, because I don't understand the distinction of what the criteria are for who's appointed and who's elected in various positions across the country. I wonder if somebody could explain it.
Yeah. Well, there's surveys, right?
Mr. Carter, the question, I think you can hear, what's the criteria for appointed versus elected officials?
It's explained in the statutes, right? In the statutes, it says that you're going to elect these people unless the town makes a bylaw to do the other. Right? So the state statute, if you go through town government, right, you go through those statutes, it's going to have a line that you elect a tree warden unless you make other provisions, right? We used to elect the treasurer. We used to elect the tax collector. Right? All those things have become appointed positions because we made authorizations through our bylaws to do that. Yeah, it's kind of interesting when you go through it. The state set out whatever the town can do unless they make other arrangements.
I'm not sure that I'm arguing for one or the other, but it's curious to me, the planning board is all that, and zoning board, which seems to have their similar function, is appointed, and it's not that I really would hope that the zoning board would be elected, but it just seems curious that they seem to be parallel institutions and a lot of different, committees that, some are appointed. But if it's outlined in the state, I guess I need to go there.
Go there and then refer back to our bylaws and what's happened in the meeting.
Thank you.
So up here, we're talking about changing the bylaw, right? Downstairs, we're talking about whether it's compliant with law, right? For us to vote on this. The elected part.
The election will stand for this year. This will go into for the tree board. We're still talking about the tree board.
Right, we're talking about the tree board.
Back a year from now.
So, could you outline briefly the responsibilities of the tree warden?
Is Mary quickly here? Can you stop this rain, Mary?
Could you outline the responsibilities of the tree warden really briefly?
Well, probably the tree warden could do it better, but to look at trees that need to be managed, that are town trees, right, that are just off the road and that sort of thing. Tom can talk about it in more detail, but one of the things we had mentioned before, I don't know if we mentioned it out loud or just up here at the table, is that Tom has done wonders by anytime the power company's around, you know, Ashfield or any of the tree services working on power lines and that sort of thing, to get them, we'll grab that tree too, right? To work with them so we don't have to hire them. They're already on somebody else's payroll. But there's a $12,000 budget. It could easily be a $120,000 budget to manage trees. There's really no money in our budget to plant any trees, right? We're just trying to manage the ones we have now that they don't cause some real problems. A funny story, right, is there was a tree that was signified as a dangerous tree. We really wanted to take it down. Tom wanted to take it down. The person that felt they owned that tree absolutely did not want to take it down. Their son or daughter had a car they wanted to sell, and they parked it on the road, and then the tree fell on it. So probably following the tree warden's recommendation would have been a smarter thing to do at that point. It was a really nice car.
Mr. Poisson.
That was a really nice car. So the tree warden responsibilities are basically care of the town-owned trees. And not necessarily in the parent town trees, it's the parent commissioners ask the tree warden to take that responsibility. But this whole thing, as far as the place, go down around the road, just stopping. As far as downstairs. It makes a lot of sense because the tree warden and the highway superintendent have to work. There's a lot of things that coincide. A tree warden can't do certain things within the right of way of the roads without the permission of the highway superintendent. The highway superintendent can't do certain things to town-owned trees in the right of way without the permission of the tree warden. So if it's the same person, it makes it pretty simple. And the work does just kind of go hand in hand with each other. The action, you know, we're out inspecting roads, inspecting conditions, and stumble across these things. The tree warden and the works well, as Tom said, we work with utility companies, regular maintenance or improving infrastructure, which we've been doing a lot of lately, to go along with those more needed electricity demands. So I've been spending a lot of time with them at different times. Like recently, they just did a bunch of work on 116 going to Plainfield, as you know. And what drives that, they put a bunch of new poles in. They basically split the span on the poles. So this tree work had to be done involved in that. So just me being available, they know where to go. They come to the highway garage and we address whatever needs to be addressed at the time. So just kind of goes very well in hand, these two positions, the same here. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Follow? I have a really hard time understanding it because of the mic. But I guess the question is, two questions. One is, they seem like a different set knowledge sets, you know, for the two different things. I get what you're saying, that the two departments need to work together, the two roles. And then you would contract out, you wouldn't actually do the work as the tree warden, right? Or the highway department.
Right, so the work is contracted out, that's correct. I can't hire myself to do work, that would be against the law.
I'd just like to add one thing. It'll never happen in Ashfield, but assume you wanted to move your house and a town tree had to be limbed, and you had to work together with the highway department because the house was going to be on the highway, and the tree warden, and there's all kinds of eclectic possibilities that could happen, probably never will. Yes, Harrington.
Eric Arabias and Tetro Road. I just would like to know what the determination is for what's a town tree? 1 foot off the road, 10 feet off the road, how do you determine a town tree?
Mr. Poisson.
Not Tom, nod to me if I'm correct, but it has to do with the layout of the road. So we think the center of the road is the center, it is the center of the road, but it may not be the center of the layout, right? So if the road was laid out as 3 rod wide, anything that is within that 3 rods would be a town tree. If it's in the layout, if it's a 2-rod road, if it's only 33 feet wide, if that's what the layout was, whatever the particular layout, am I right, Tom? You're nodding in the affirmative. So if it's within the town's right of way, even though it may not be right on, that's why you can't always measure from the edge of the road, because the layout, the road could be over to one edge and not so much on the other.
Thank you. Good explanation. Anything else on Article 27? 27. Bylaw change, making the tree warden appointed rather than elected. Ready to vote? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That passes unanimously. Now, before we look at 28, I want to ask the members of the planning board here, would you like to sit at the front table? The finance committee graciously agreed to move because the next 3 articles deal with it. No. Do it at the mic. Okay, thank you very much. Do I hear a motion with respect to Article 28?
Mr. Moderator,
Mr. Goodgen.
I move Article 28 as written.
Second by Mr. Leonard. Talk to us.
So this has to do, going forward, with things we've been talking about already, and that is volunteer time, trying to get people interested in volunteering in town. And as Tom, I think, came up with one of his moments of infinite wisdom, said that 5 years is more of a sentence. So, anyways, so going forward, the proposal is to have the term for this reduced to 3 years, hoping it'll make it a little bit easier for people to be interested in, not having that longer commitment. Also, it used to take a lot longer to get people on board with the planning board and the knowledge that we needed to have and just the experience. And since a lot of that's being moved over to more professional services at this point, it seems like a good time to reduce that sentence term and make it something that feels more accessible to more people.
That was Mr. Carter. Life without possibility of parole. Is there a recommendation from the Finance Committee?
Yes, we recommend this unanimously.
I would like to ask Mr. Chandler to speak. I asked him to come and speak to this because he's got first knowledge to share with us.
So the bottom line on this is
Rick Chandler.
Rich Chandler, 41 Meadow Lane, and current chair of the planning board. The bottom line on this is that in the recruitment process, we're trying to figure out who might be willing to run for planning board every time a term expires. It's really hard to get a 5-year buy-in. And there are quite a lot of folks in town that actually have some expertise in planning. Some of whom are actually employed professional planners who will say no when you ask them about 5 years. They might try 3, but they don't want to sign up for 5. They don't want to kind of quit before the term is up, which, by the way, I'm doing right now. After 8 years on the planning board, the 2-year position right now is mine because I'm not filling the final 2 years. So this allows for a more orderly turnover, perhaps more qualified turnover, and it does, as it was mentioned earlier, it does reflect the fact that you already passed a portion of the budget where there is a sum of money put aside now for the planning board to have a professional advisor, consultant who has lots of experience. He's actually on board right now. It's Jeff Lacey from Conway, who is the Conway Planning Board, is on the Conway Planning Board, was on the Shrewsbury Planning Board for 20 years and is now a consultant as well. And he's charging the planning board an hourly rate to help advise us about where changes are needed, where they might be needed in the future, and what does it mean when the state says such and such that thou shalt do. So those are all things that used to take a lot of time to learn. What we're finding is They turn over so fast now in terms of mandates from the state, which didn't used to be so true for the planning board. It was more of a local board. Now it's state as a factor of the ADU bylaw that many of you I'm sure are familiar with. So that's the justification.
Thank you very much. Questions, comments? Ready to vote? This is a change. I did. This calls for a change in bylaws and then into our bylaws from 5 years to 3 years for planning board members. So,
Let me say one more thing.
please do.
This is a staggered situation.
Please use the microphone.
This is, I should have mentioned, this happens in a staggered way because we already have 5-year positions. So this year you notice that there's a 5-year and a 2-year. The person that's elected to the 5-year position this year will serve for 5 years. And it will stagger its way in so that in the 3rd or 4th year we'll start to see the 3-year terms come into play.
Thank you, that's an important addition. It's not my fault.
Is this working still? Judy Howard, Spruce Corner Road. As a veteran member of the planning board for 10 years, when I first came on the planning board, I knew nothing about planning. So they told me to be the scribe. Shortly thereafter, they hired a scribe because it was so technical. Just putting it out there.
Careful with that.
Any other comments or questions? We ready to vote on whether to change our bylaws in this regard? All in favor of Article 28 as moved, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That passes unanimously as well. Article 29, do I hear a motion?
Mr. Moderator, I move Article 29 as written.
Second.
Who seconded? Okay, Carol. Please, you want to talk to this?
No, I really don't.
Okay.
Because I think we have much more knowledgeable professional people here.
Mr. Rice, will you very gingerly approach that microphone? Thank you. Tell us who you are.
Alan Rice, 230 South Street, and current member of the planning board for another hour and 15 minutes. Occasionally the planning board goes through, there's amendments, that's part of its duties, create and amend the bylaws. Once in a while we make little tweaks. This is a simple tweak that has to do with Section 5 districts, subsection B, flood hazard district. It was pointed out to us recently, I think by FERCog, that the date of the flood insurance rate map that is referenced in that section of the bylaw is incorrect. So we're correcting that because we want to make sure that the proper map is referenced, is addressed, and also the additional language is just to make sure that the most up-to-date rate maps are being used. Just a simple fix, but it's important.
Would you stay there, Mr. Rice? Is there anybody who wants help understanding what we're being asked to vote on? Who wants to ask Mr. Rice a question about the specific languages before us? Are we good? Looks like we're good. Thank you very much. Recommendation. There is none, I think. No, there's no recommendation. This doesn't involve money, so Finance Committee does not make a recommendation. All right, are we ready to vote? All those in favor of Article 29 as moved, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That passes unanimously. Thank you. Article 30, your motion.
Mr. Moderator.
Mr. O'Lanick.
For the 30th and final article of the day, I move Article 30 as written.
Second.
Mr. Rice, would you like to speak to this?
So the special permit granting authority, the ZBA, can also grant special permits. I'm not speaking for the ZBA, I'm just speaking for the planning board. But in the past, the planning board has found it helpful to have what's called a pre-application conference with the potential applicant for a special permit. They come to a meeting, they ask questions, we get to ask questions of them, we get to learn what the potential timeline is, and we think that it really helps to move the process, the special permitting process along as efficiently as possible. So this language is being recommended to be put in the special permitting section, section 7 of the Ashfield zoning bylaws. It's not required, it's encouraged that potential applicant come and meet with the board. We found it to be very helpful, as I said. And so potential applicants scour the special permitting section, so we think it's good to have this language included in that section so that hopefully those applicants will come and meet ahead of time before they file the application.
Finance Committee has no recommendation with respect to Article 30 either. Ms. Babis? Mr. Rice, maybe you should hang around in case we need you.
I'm Molly Beck, East Bear River Road, and chair of the ZBA.
ZBA being
Zoning Board of Appeals. Sentenced to 27 years or so.
She said.
I just want to say that this is also a practice that the zoning board uses, I think, and it's a really helpful thing. It's good for potential applicants to be reminded of that in the zoning law and really encouraged to meet ahead of time. I think it saves everybody time and it saves the applicants money.
Let me just ask, is there anyone who needs an explanation of what a special permit is or what a special permit granting authority is? Anybody? We are informed. Thank you. Any other questions of either of our chairs of the zoning board or the planning board? Are we ready to vote? Are we ever, is what they're saying. The finance committee does not have a recommendation at this point. This one also requires a 2/3 majority vote, as we know. Zoning bylaws require 2/3. General bylaws, simple majority. This one requires a 2/3 majority vote. All in favor of Article 30, the special permit bylaw change, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Every year, right now, I look for the words. I look for ways to say thank you that I haven't already done, because every year I'm even more exponentially grateful. Never more than this year. I am not going to politicize any more than we have to this moment. But I can say I can read, and all of you read, about how our representative democracy is in peril, as people say, and they talk about why and how, and wonder what the future holds, and look for evidence of hope. This is the purest form of democracy. You do not have representatives speaking on your behalf. You're speaking on your behalf yourself. This morning we heard eloquent, probative conversation about important things. I can't say any more than this how grateful I am to the people sitting, every one of the people sitting up here. We all have many challenges in front of us in terms of preserving democracy, but I, for one, have great confidence because of these people, because of you people. I love Ashfield. I just want to acknowledge Sandy Carter, who, how much time did she get? This is her last day as a trustee of the library, and I cannot think of a need in that library that she hasn't addressed. And I just want to thank you. Incredible. And as I look around and I see all the volunteers who spoke up earlier who make this town work, You do it out of love and commitment. You make each of our lives better. And thank you. With that, is there a motion to adjourn? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Another great town meeting.